will involve puttying nail holes. When you're puttying your nail holes, you want to leave just a little bit above the surface so that when we sand, it will sand it flush and you no longer see the hole. We will also have areas that will need to be cut out and areas of spot putty. Spot putty is used as details such as these, which are shallow and the putty will not want to fill. Spot putty is only used for shallow areas, not for filling holes, as it will shrink and not fill the hole. And then we will also have to check over when we're working with previously painted trim, and you'll see that we have some caulking that's splitting away here, and it's actually protruding above the baseboard. So if we were to caulk to that, you would still see that line. So what we're going to do is actually take our utility knife and come in here and surgically remove any old caulk protrusions. So that way, when we put our caulking down, it's a nice, new, smooth finish. And this trim is not as beat up as most trim because it's only had its original paint job on it. What we'll find is a lot of times over time and time of paint jobs and caulking that doing this step will really help us when it comes time to tape our trim off and make nice clean lines. Continuing on with our prepping of the trim, we're going to go on to sanding once our putty has had ample drying time and we've filled all of our imperfections. We'll come in with our sanding material. We like to cut these in half, just makes it a little easier to use in your hand. And what you're going to do is you're going to go through and sand all of the profiles. Every little detail needs sanded, not only the putty spots. Sand every detail, and it's a good idea to, once you've ran a sanding sponge across the surface, to run your hand across, just to go ahead and give it a feel and make sure it's all nice and smooth. Sanding these areas by hand and using our sanding apparatus, our surf prep here, hooked to our extractor to control the dust we'll use on all these flat areas. This will help speed up the process and give us a real nice even sand. Is sanded flush with the trim. We'll want to come through and we want to dust all of that loose sanding dust off, clean the surface, dust the surface off, the area around it to keep debris out of your caulking. Next step is caulking. You want to keep a bucket of water or whatever medium your caulking you're using is. This is a latex caulk, so we're using water and a saturated wet rag. Keep this rag with you at all times to wipe your fingers and to keep it off of you and your surrounding elements. So we'll want to start in the corner, only applying a little amount of caulk. See, this is too much. You put this much caulking on and it's just going to smear everywhere. It's going to take away from the profile. We want to clean this to where it's really nice and fine and only filling the actual joints. Being interior, it doesn't need to be a large amount of caulking. Only run the amount needed. Take a wet finger, smooth the caulking. The wet finger will keep from any dry areas of caulking laying off the edges. Keeps a really nice smooth bead of caulk for corners. When you get to a corner, you'll want to run that entire corner, starting from the center, pulling out, pulling all the corners out, and that will keep that center nice and smooth. And you will continue to do until everything is filled and smooth.